Well, Phil, what's been the key message to your squad after Saturday's game?
Yeah, just focusing on the next one really, and just picking the team for Deepdale. Obviously, the staff, we've had a good chat about the game and had a review ourselves. But when you've got a Tuesday game, it's we said what we had to say after the game with the group, and we move on to Tuesday and an important week.
And Preston, another championship side, they're going really well. They had a good start, haven't they?
Yeah, they've had a good start. Great win at the weekend against Ipswich. They're an established championship club, and it'd be a great test for us, similar to the whole game.
Obviously, with so many signings and stuff, there's certain people maybe want a bit more game time. We've just seen Harry Ashfield here as well. Bit of rotation, perhaps, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm sure both teams will change personnel for this one. I think leading up to this first international break in the championship, it's a bit of a kind of line in the sand period, because it's all about getting as many players ready as possible. And we made changes against Hull, and very entertaining game, one on pens, and a lot of the lads did well, I thought, on the night, and it's a chance again for other players, not just to get us through to the next round, but stake a claim for the weekend.
You mentioned a few times over the past month in terms of there's still some players that could leave. Like, look at Ollie Palmer, for example. He did come into your thinking for that game, and are those players in your thinking for this game tomorrow or not?
Yeah, I think everybody's available for selection, it's just like staking a claim, isn't it? It's when players aren't in the start 11, the best way to do your talking is out on the football pitch, and it's an opportunity tomorrow for players to say, obviously we'll do everything I can to get us through to the next round, but I want to stake a claim for a start in the league as well.
And it's something you've always done throughout the levels as you've gone up. You've always, like you said, had that competition, and it means some people, have to leave or move on, etc. But how are you finding those lads now that are in that situation who have been with you for the GA?
Yeah, I think I always said to everybody, to the owners, right at the start of the summer, that there's going to be a big change around, and that is obviously going to be a little bit difficult, because a lot of good lads here and who may be moving on. Some have left already or on loan, and that transition is never straightforward, but to get to the squad to where we believe I need it to be, it's work needed to be done, and also we've got to be fair to players who want to go elsewhere and play.
You mentioned the owners there. In terms of your talks with them over the past month or so, are they sort of maybe not realising, because maybe they did understand, I'm not too sure, but the level, it's a massive step up, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
I
think everybody realised that the quality level is obviously a bigger jump from National League to League 2, League 1. This is quality level just goes up. You're up against a lot of Premiership standard players and teams who've been at the top level of football. But we've got to take heart as well, because we've been in every game and we've created chances in all the games, and we look like we can score, and that's the hardest thing to do in football. Of course, we've got to readdress the balance to a certain degree, because in periods in the game we look vulnerable, and we spoke about that after the game, that in that pressured moments we needed to show more composure with the ball ourselves, and the stats kind of back that up. The possession in the second half, but also our success rate with the ball went down dramatically after the break, and that's when fatigue sets in. Also, the other team's got momentum, but it's how we come through that, and we gave the ball back too cheaply, and we got punished. And we've got to look at that as a group, and all of us, myself, we've got to improve. But there's lots of positives in terms of the attacking play. I think in each game we've played, we've scored 1, 3, 2 and 2. Those could have been a lot more. We've had some really good moments, and Saturday really we could have been ahead a lot more comfortably at half time, but we weren't. But we've got to look at the balance of the side, obviously, and look at the shape of the team. Do we need to address that slightly? Do we need to look at different profile of players within the makeup of the current shape? And they're all things we're looking at as a staff, and analysing what we've been doing. A lot of the reason we've been creating chances and scoring is because of the shape and the expansiveness of the wing backs. But we've also just got to look and make sure when we come under pressure, how we need to adapt as a team, and something we've been speaking about a lot. And I think that last moment where we nearly conceded I think that was kind of like affected me more than actually not winning the game, because it was a very naive moment. I think it was a team which was so desperate to go and win and get off and running in the season that we were chasing it. But even in like the National League, if the score was 2-2 at home, we'd still do that from a structure. And kind of in that moment, we kind of had committed too many men past the ball and could have been punished. So I think there's a lot, and sometimes that can be the mindset of the group coming in the division so determined to do well. But sometimes we just have a few reminders. We've got to make sure that we attack from a secure base. And that moment, was an extreme kind of example of that.
You referenced there that sort of analysing everything to see what you can and can't can improve as well. You're an experienced head. That there's no such thing needing a knee-jerk reaction to a tough start, but it's just about more balance, isn't it? I suppose. Yeah,
definitely. I think that's really what we're saying. It's which we've done quite a bit of work on already in terms of looking at the position of players when we're attacking, all the balls on the other side of the field, and making sure that we're not getting exposed when the ball changes hands, and we've got to address that. And sometimes that can be a slight change, like I said, in shape, or it can be a different profile of players in those positions, or working with those players to adapt. Because obviously the goals we've conceded have been disappointing, but we have been punished. We've been punished in moments. But like I said last week, and I thought first half we did it brilliantly. Everything we'd asked for, we did. I think, so we more or less had to defend less set plays, came through that well, but we more or less spoke to the lads after the West Brom game about areas we need to improve. And I thought we did that terrifically well. I think the problem we had on Saturday was when the pressure came on us and a bit of fatigue came in, we didn't show that calmness in possession which we needed. And then, like I've just said, then the kind of the kind of desire to go and chase the game, which obviously we've won a lot of games late here, but when doing that you've got to make sure you don't lose it, and we nearly did, but thankfully we didn't, and we've got a point, and we are off and running on the points tally.
And just in terms of tomorrow, Kiefer, Libby, is that a possibility for them too, or is it more likely the weekend, do you think?
Libby is on the grass today, but tomorrow will come too soon for him. Kiefer's his ankle's settled down again, so we'll just look at him tomorrow. Nathan Broadhead's got a bit of a tight calf, and like I've explained, we have to be cautious with players, because the ones who've come in and been at other clubs and have picked up little niggles, and some worse than others with George and Josh. So we've got to be careful with Nath, but he'll get that. He showed signs of it at the weekend. It didn't quite come off for him, but it wasn't for a lack of trying. His work out possession was good.
I'm sure you've got the countdown ready for next week to finally get the transfer window out of the way. Hoping for a bit more this week, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a week left to kind of put some finishing touches to the jigsaw we've been trying to piece together. And like I've said all along, we know how we want that to look. We're not quite there yet, hopefully by next week we'll have the squad how we want it. Big important week for us are these 2 games, as every week is, when you've got 3 games in 7 days, and then we've got a chance to get the players back on the training pitch, all of missed training, have a good couple of weeks working with everybody. Looking forward to that. But it's all about making the squad strong enough for the championship and being fair to the lads who may have their eyes on moves elsewhere.
Thank you, Phil.
You've also been impressed with the impact made by Kiefer since he's come to the club, but well nursed in an ankle injury as well.
Yeah, I think he was unplayable first half, wasn't he?
Yeah. Could have had more, even too.
Very unlucky, really, that header which Maxi kind of followed in. That you look at that, you think how that didn't that end up in the back of the net. So yeah, pleased for him. Like I said, we're keeping him going till the weekend, and then we'll assess the ankle after that. But yeah, listen, he's strapping it up and getting on with it, which is what you need. But we've got to make sure he's getting training in his legs as well, because if you look at the West Brom game, obviously he didn't do anything for the whole week, and then kind of was just half a yard away. So we've got to get that balance right with him, that, you know, give him a bit of rest, but also make sure he's getting enough training in his legs.
Obviously, with the international break, it's a good chance for players who are out injured. You know, they're not going to be missing matches, but some of these players will be going because obviously the Welsh contingent.
Yeah.
How do you view the international break, folks? It's something that we're new to with being a Championship club.
Yeah, I think the first one is about us getting people up to speed who are not quite there yet, and then, like you say, the injured players, getting them all on the grass and starting to get some work in them. So the squad is in a stronger position when the season gets going in a couple of weeks' time. I think down the line, international breaks can be utilised to give players a breather who've played a lot of minutes up to that point. But where we are at the moment, we need to utilise it, you know, to really gel the squad together.
Yeah, from Millwall to Queen's Park Rangers, 2 week gap, and like players you said last week, Josh Windass, you may not miss a lot of games because of that break.
Yeah, I mean, that's the benefit of Josh when that happened. You know, the moment he pulled up, we were really concerned, but it's not often you get good news from scans, but we did get, you know, positive with that one, that it's a 4 to 6 week injury, but Josh is determined to make that closer to 4 weeks than 6.
And with regards to the League Cup, it's not a competition Wrexham had a lot of success in over years, despite like getting to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. I know maybe they're a bigger fish to fry, but you still want to progress to round 3.
Yeah, no, we're going to a great stadium tomorrow night. I always love going to Deepdale over the years. It's a traditional northwest ground. You know, one of the founder members of the EFL, if you're right, Rich. And yeah, it's a great stadium to go and play at, and we're going there, you know, all out to get through. You know, obviously we'll make changes, but I'm sure Preston will. But those changes will be, you know, based on the team I feel he's going to go and get as a result.